So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are the morning after the Winter Brawl. And I will tell you, it lived up to its name for sure. 2024 Winter Brawl CESBoxing. It was a epic night. It was a great way to kick off the year in boxing matches. If you're a boxing fan, you missed out. I mean, 6 hours of boxing, live boxing here in New England. Where else are you going to get that? It went from amateur boxing to the pro boxing. Now, it was late. The fights ended around 1 a.m. But I'll tell you, if you paid money and you wanted to watch it, you got more than your money's worth. So I didn't arrive until the very last amateur fight, which was an amateur fight that was heavyweights. And that, to kick off the night, was in itself just very exciting. It was a second round knockout, pretty much. And two heavyweights, when you get two heavyweights in the ring, it's always an exciting matchup. They're always slugging it out. One of the boxers seemed to be a little more poised and looked a little more experienced. And he ended up knocking the guy out. Dropped him, I think, with a body shot in the first round towards the end, and then ended up finishing him off in the early of the second round. So that was exciting in itself to watch. Arriving first fight of the night. And so that just kind of set the tone for what we were in for. A great night of, live boxing and competitive. There was no lopsided fights where you can look at a guy and be like, oh, that guy's going to get his head bashed. You didn't have that here tonight. You had some pretty good records, fighters with good records, and pretty much everybody that was on the card came in looking in shape and ready to fight and win. And that's what you want as a boxing fan, right? You want to see a competitive matchup. You don't want to see a lopsided guy, guy with 10-0 fighting a guy 3-8, and the guy just slaughters him. Now, if the guy is 3-8, but he puts up a really good competitive fight, that's okay in my eyes. But a guy that's, 2-5 or 3-8 or 3-10 or 5-10 or 8-15 or something like that, and then the guy in the first round just ends up, getting slaughtered, that's not good. That's not good as a fan, So anyway, we had the first fight, professional match. We had Providence's own James Maynard. Now, I've been hearing a lot about this kid as an amateur. There's a lot of talk about him, a little bit of hype. Seen some clips of him sparring, etc. And I got to tell you, this is the first time I watched this kid live fight. And honestly, I was very impressed. I can't lie. He fought a guy who, at the weigh-in, came in and he seemed to be really confident at the weigh-in. When they do the face-off, he was in the other guy's face and kind of taunting him. The guy was taunting Miguel Torres, fighting against James Maynard. Miguel Torres was in James Maynard's face, and at the stare down, they were staring at each other, and Miguel Torres was shaking his head. Yeah, like, you're going to get it. You see, you're in for a night that you are never going to remember. You're never going to forget. And that was the kind of the aura and the presence that he was giving off. And I got to tell you, I was a little impressed with him too, because he came to fight, and he was really good. This guy, he came. He had a lot of heart. I mean, he threw. He's a little maybe inexperienced. Looks like he can use a little bit more experience. But I think that the street fight in him and the heart with the what you need as skill as a professional, it didn't quite match up yet with him and his ability to be able to put combinations together, work his way in to get to a spot that he wants to be at, where he's more beneficial at. Which he's fighting a taller guy, longer arms, and he needed to be on the inside. And to me, he was just walking straight in, and Mr. James Maynard fought the perfect fight. These guys seem to have a lot of tension in the beginning of the rounds. It was a 4-round fight. Those are always exciting too, because it's do or die. You gotta fight. You got no time to waste. If you're trying to move around and take your time and be real selective with your punching, you're probably going to get a draw, you're going to lose, because the rounds go by really, really fast, and there's only 4 rounds. So I got to credit both of these guys, but Mr. Maynard was very impressive because he fought his fight, and he just threw good long combination punches, 1-2 hooks. The hook, the guy was right there walking straight in to catch all of those punches with his face. And at some point, I believe it was like the 2nd round, he was bleeding. Mr. Maynard was bleeding, and he held this. He kept his composure. He didn't look like he didn't panic. He fought like a real, true professional boxer. He was moving. He's a southpaw. He was sticking the jab. He has a great corner. Big Six Boxing. These guys are 30-some years in the game, so they know what they're doing. And both of the guys were in shape. Like, both of them, no homo, pause, looked shredded, first of all. You could tell they worked hard. Then you look at their corners. Both had very experienced corners. So these guys are not coming with no jokes. Right? They're not standing behind no weak guys, okay? Guys that are, just going to fall with one punch. So that fight right there set the night off. After watching that fight, it was like, wow, this is really going to be really, really good, okay? And it was. Maynard won by unanimous decision. Look, he started off a little slow. Guy came right at him, but he just snapped into some sort of moment and turned the switch on, and he just started hitting the guy to the body, head. Everything he threw landed. I think he may have hurt the guy towards, the 3rd round at some point. Guy kind of came out in the 4th round, was a little came out a little strong, tried to come out strong anyway. Maynard always was one step ahead, and when the guy came with whatever, Maynard just kept stepping his game up, So, true professional there. Congratulations to James Maynard, Big Six Boxing. Good job, and a good job in the corner. Great job in the corner. Second great fight we had was, let's see here, who was after Maynard? I think it was Mr. Lauermaz Bohazowicz versus Bruno Saranova. Now, the guy Bruno came out, and he looked like he only had one fight. His record was 0-1. I don't know what the other guy, I think the other guy was 2-0. He came out, was looking really pumped up, jacked, in shape, muscles. But we all know boxing, muscles don't mean anything in the boxing ring. Sorry. The guy came out, was just really trying to knock this guy out. You could look across the ring on the other side, see the other guy had a little more experience and just kept his composure and was calm and just patient. It looked like he could have, if the guy put his foot on the gas or maybe was a little more confident in his ability, he probably would have knocked the guy out in the first round or stopped him in the first round. But the guy just looked like he threw too much wild power shots and was really fatigued by the end of the first round. And by the second round, middle of the second round, got hit to the body. And that was it. He couldn't go no more. And it was well-deserved stoppage, I'd say. So congratulations to this guy, Slawomir Bohemian-Wicks. Maybe Russian. It might be a Russian guy. I don't know where he's from, but he fought a very good fight as well. Okay, and then we go to this was I gotta say, this was an amazing, no, I'm sorry, excuse me for that, folks. We had 112-pound weight class. Angel Gonzalez, 12-0 versus Christian Robles, 8-0. And I believe that fight went the distance. I watched the first round. It was going back and forth. I really don't know who won, so I'm sorry for that, folks. So after that, let's get into James Webb versus who did he fight? D'Angelo's. I'm sorry for that. I forgot who the guy, James Webb, but he got knocked out in the first round. James Webb got knocked out in the first round. Got hit with a body shot. It was kind of like a little delayed reaction. Went down and didn't get up. Okay, but let's get into the good fights here, like the co-features and the co-main events and the main events, because I gotta tell you, this was really, really exciting. Okay, so we got, it was Carlos Venegas Nunes, 6-1 with 5 knockouts. Okay, fighting James Webb. And James Webb was 2-1 with 2 knockouts, and he got knocked out. Well, hit with a body shot, went down the first round, and that was it. And the body shot was clean by Carlos Venegas Nunes. Another pretty good-looking fighter, promising future. So let's get into the good fights here. Very competitive fights that was matched up very, very well. We have Nathan Martinez from New Britain, Connecticut versus Providence, Pawtucket's own Mr. Ricky De Los Santos. And I got to tell you, I think from the ring entrance, Mr. De Los Santos was making a statement with a song he came out with. And he came out with the Meek Mill song saying, "Y'all thought I was finished?" You thought it was over? And I got to tell you, the first round, Nathan Martinez really was they were going, it was his game plan. Martinez was working in the first round, second round, because he hit Dos Santos with some good shots. Looked like Dos Santos rocked a little bit, but he never just stayed on him, and he never could put more than more than 2-3 punches. Martinez, he can never put more than 2-3 punches together. To really, at that weight class, you hit a guy, you hurt him, and it's not the first shot that's going to knock a guy out or stop him. It's the 3, 4, and 5th shot that's going to eventually stop the guy. You can hit him, buzz him, but, at the smaller weight classes, the power structure is just a little different. You got to throw 5, 6 punches to, knock a guy out, So that's why neither one of these guys have many knockouts. They're weighing in at like 125 pounds. Dos Santos is coming into this fight. He's 11-1 with 3 knockouts, and Martinez is 8-2 with 2 knockouts. So you're probably really looking at it on paper. You're not really expecting a knockout, but you see a guy get hit, they get a little buzz, but you're not gonna knock him out with one shot. Your stature is not big enough. Martinez, I think he needs to work a little bit more on throwing more than, a 1-2. I mean, he had a really good, sharp, straight 1-2, but he just never followed with anything more than a 1-2 punch. And Dos Santos just was really coming out, taking control from the first round, and it seemed like he was controlling the tempo the whole fight. And he just had his foot on the gas and the pressure, and he was just throwing, 6, 7, 8 punches. 1-2 hook, right hand, uppercut, straight, and was landing 3 out of those, 3, 4 out of them. Then he was going to the body. I mean, that kid just fought a perfect fight after round 3. I mean, after round 2 and on. It looked like he needed to warm up a little bit. It wasn't a dominant performance from, he didn't, I thought, he may have lost the first and maybe the second round. Maybe the second round. I'm not sure, I'm not really a judge, but, I give Martinez the first round because it looked like he hit Dos Santos with a couple of good clean shots, rocked Dos Santos a little bit, and and that was just the most that kid did. And they were talking to each other in the fight, or Martinez was talking to him. Like, there was some bad blood here. Like, these are 2 New England fighters, and this was for a belt. I didn't know this was for a belt until I arrived at the arena. I said, wow, this is for the United States 125 belt, 125-pound belt, United States WBC belt. So congratulations to Dos Santos for putting on a really great, dominant performance for 6 rounds straight. I mean, they fought an 8-rounder. I thought they were fighting 6. They fought an 8-rounder. And it almost looked like Martinez was gonna pull the upset, and I don't know, the Martinez or he got knocked down by the referee or something happened. Then they headbutted each other, and I don't know, that kid just, when he walked out to the ring, and this is no disrespect to him, and this is not saying nothing bad about him, but when he just walked out to the ring and got in the ring, I don't know, I've never seen a fighter like this. Like, he just he didn't seem there. He just seemed like he was not there. He just seemed kind of spaced out a little bit or something. I don't know, it just looked weird. You know, he like turned around a few times in the fight. The doctors were checking him like third or fourth round. Like then the referee was like giving him breaks, stopping the action in the middle of fighting engagement. Both fighters are fighting and referees jumping in, stopping, and making them both go to the neutral corners. Like it was almost like the referee was trying to save the guy from getting knocked out because Dos Santos was seemingly coming on, and the guy looked like he may have been hurt, you know. And you see the referee jumping in, yelling break, go to the corner, and it was like what happened, you know? Beats me. I don't know. Maybe he was warning them about. I don't know. But the kid Martinez just looked like, you know, from the time he got in the ring, he looked like he really didn't want to be there. You know, he wasn't bouncing on his toes. You know, little guys in the smaller weight classes, they're moving a lot. They're throwing a lot of punches. They're moving. You know, they're hyped up. They're bouncing. And that guy really had no bounce. He looked a little chubby, and this is no disrespect to him because he put up a great fight. But Dos Santos just 8 rounds, you know, and this, when you get into 6 and 8 and 10 round fights and 12 round fights, this is where the real talent is showed. This is where the real professional work and your homework, your gym work shows, right? And that's what happened. It was kind of even in the first round. But maybe Martinez stole the end of the first round. He threw a good 1, 2, 3 combination or something. Kind of rocked Dos Santos, so it seemed. So I would have gave round 1 to probably Martinez. Round 2 was really like back and forth, and it looked like Dos Santos was warming up, and he got hit with a couple of straight right hands, and you know, maybe a left hook, and just I don't think he was hurt, but just looked like he got stunned a little bit. You know, he just backed up a little bit, did a little wobble with just a little shake, you know, like a second or two. It wasn't nothing to, you know, brag about, but this is what I saw, you know. So no offense to either one of those fighters, fought a great fighter. But in the end, the real professional, the guy who wanted it more, the guy who worked harder, it was Dos Santos, and you saw that clearly because he took over the fight after the second round, and the other kid just didn't stand his chance. I mean, they were kind of taunting each other a little bit. You could see them talking, and the crowd, though, wow. When I say wow, wow. When those two fighters came out, Connecticut versus Providence, Rhode Island, I mean, both of those kids have a great following. The crowd, you can hear the roar for Martinez. And then you can hear the roar for Dos Santos. And it was just exciting to be there live, to watch these two young guys going head to head. So bravo to Dos Santos. Congratulations on your win. He won the belt. He made a statement that y'all thought he was finished. Y'all thought he was gone. That's his house. That's his ring. Dos Santos, 125 pounds, champion. That 12-1. Congratulations, brother. Got my blessings. Now, after that fight, we had another great fight, and I knew it was a great fight. And this kid's no joke. This kid is no effing joke. When I tell you, Frank the Tank Hogan, no joke. No joke. 16-0, okay? 15 knockouts. No, I'm sorry. 14 knockouts. And 23 years old, from Weymouth, Massachusetts. And he fought a guy who's no joke. This guy came to fight. Yeah, the guy was like Mexican guy from, I think he was from Colombia or California somewhere, out of state. And that guy came to fight, but he knew he was in trouble from the first round. I mean, the Tank, that's a great name for him because he comes in like a tank, but he has really good boxing skills. And I think he's Irish, or he's a white guy, Caucasian, no offense, but the guy has ability there. He has great ability. I mean, he's shoulder rolling, he's moving. And one thing I noticed about this kid, you hit him with a good punch. I mean, this guy, he didn't follow up. He knew he was in trouble right from the beginning, right? I mean, the Tank was a little bit taller than him. I think he's like 6'2", 160 pounds, and could hit. So I think right from the opening bell, and he's a southpaw. So from the opening bell, he throws like a straight left to the body, and that just set the tone. That body shot, like, I could hear it. I was way up in the like second row behind. Like, I had great seats, but I was like up behind. You could hear the impact. So, but when the guy hit the Tank, and he just gets, you could see he gets mad and just goes in and is like, come on. And that alone is intimidating. You hit a guy with your best shot and he just comes at you? Sheesh. So that was a dominant performance by him. Great performance by him. He put on a great boxing clinic. He used his jab. I mean, he just had great defense, body shots, head shots. The kid does it all, man. Look out for him. Frank, the Tank, Hogan. I watched him since he was a young kid. He used to come down to Providence and work at Big Six Boxing as an amateur. I believe he won some national titles as a young amateur. And he just won the United States WBC middleweight belt, and he's something to look out for, okay? And then we have from New London, Connecticut, by way of Dominican Republic, and trains here in Providence, Mr. Alejandro Paulino. He is coming into this fight 15-0. 13 knockouts. 15-0, 13 knockouts. And he's fighting a guy from Texas, 17-3, with 11 KOs. Okay? And this guy, D'Angelo Cayes, he was no joke. He came to fight. He came to win. And he tried. He went all 8 rounds. So this was a big test for Paulino. This was a really big test for him. And El Buceron, he just came in. He just, like, this kid is unbelievable. He's a bull. He reminds me of a 130 pound Brian the Bull Barboza. That's what this kid is. This kid was just, no homo, like just in shape from head to head, muscles everywhere, right? He's about 5'8", 5'9", maybe, 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", taller than me, and he fights at 130, and he's got muscles everywhere, head to toe, and boy, does he got power. I mean, he just comes straight in. I mean, he's a boxer. He's a good boxer. He uses his jab well. He straight right hands. Just power, power, power. Everything was power. And so, you know, like, you're thinking like, oh, he's going to get tired. He's going to punch himself out. And he did that for 8 rounds. Just walk this kid down. And big props to Mr. D'Angelo Keys, because that kid took some punches. And I mean, he got knocked down a couple times in like the early rounds, first round or second round, and it looked like Paulino was just gonna devour him. And the kid just had a lot of heart. He was trying. He hit Paulino with some really good shots, and Paulino just ate him like they were nothing. I mean, I'm talking about clean overhand rights, left hooks, even some uppercuts. And just Alejandro Paulino just came back with like 6, 7, 8 more power shots after the kid lands 1 or 2. So I don't know if it was a setup, if he was just setting the guy up, like, go ahead, hit me, and I'm going to give you 3, 4, 5 of mine. And man, this kid just body shots, head shots. Sometimes you could hear the impact. The crowd was going crazy, loud. Oh man, wonderful, wonderful fight. Then we had who else here? Let me see. Then we had the how could I forget? This was the fight of the night. This was the fight of the night. This may even be the fighter of the year, the knockout of the year. Okay? King Kevin Walsh. This was a big step up for him. This was a big test for him. And I got to tell you, folks, all y'all people back in Brockton, Massachusetts, you guys have a new champion, and you guys have a really good fighter there. King Kevin Walsh lived up to all the hype and more. This kid, I interviewed him back in like October, November, and they told me, watch out for February, he'll be fighting. And I've been watching him train. He came out, no homo. I mean, he just looked phenomenal. He looked like he was in just phenomenal shape. I see him posting on the Instagram, his training regimen. He's always training, working hard. And he fought a guy, Darrell Rivera, 9-2-1 with 7 knockouts. They lined up, matched up in height, size, weight. That guy he was in great shape, and he came in, he looked like he had a little bit of had a little attitude, and was like kind of like, he thought, it almost seemed like he was coming to make a statement. He's 9-2. He's fighting for the belt, and the United States belt, WBC US belt, 130-pound belt. And just Kevin Walsh fought perfect fight. Comes out, he's using his jab, the guy was a southpaw, so what's he gonna get hit with? Easy punch. Southpaw. King Kevin jabbing to the body. It's just a big setup, great setup. He's just very composed, confident, patient, observant, looking, watching, throwing the jab, throwing the jab. The other guy is trying to move and counter. And let me tell you, the first right hand this kid threw landed, and it was lights out. Good night, Irene, for Darrell Rivera. He came in. He looked like he was going to make a competitive fight, put up a good fight. And he just got hit with an unbelievable right hand. I believe it was just a straight. It was kind of straight, maybe a little looping, and that's the recipe for southpaws. Not the straight, not the over, but just a straight looper. And man, he put him, just starched him. He went straight down, faster than fast, and took him a minute to get up. They had to wake him up. Man, I was like, wow. And the crowd just standing ovation. So that was the fight of the night. Okay. That was the best fight of the night. He should get the prize for knockout of the night, maybe knockout of the year to start off 2024. That was a horrendous knockout tonight. And by the grace of God, everybody was okay. Everybody was walked in the ring, walked out of the ring, was talking, was everything. So thank God Darrell Rivera's all right, but it didn't look good for him. It was not his night. And then we get to the main event. I mean, it was late. It was long. The main event came on around a little bit after 12 a.m. But, man, I'll tell you, I knew this was going to be a good fight when I first heard it. Greg the Villain Vendetti versus Cordell Booker. Cordell Booker won a 10-round unanimous decision. I mean, it looked to me. Now, I watched Vendetti fight his first few pro fights. I've been kind of vaguely watching him in and out throughout the years. And then I watch him in the gym a little bit. And then he told me they were fighting a big fight. They can't announce it, but they got a big fight coming up a couple years back. And the big fight was on Showtime, pay-per-view, I believe. Fights Irizarry Lara for the vacant WBA, IBF, WBO middleweight, junior middleweight championship, 154-pound championship. And I got to tell you, I thought Vendetti, he didn't lose a unanimous decision to Lara. And I got to tell you, I thought he could have won. They could have gave him that fight when he fought Lara. I mean, he fought Lara. He did way better than what the hype was, you know, with the people talking, and I mean, man, he is a really good fighter, this guy. He doesn't look too technical like a boxer. But when you talk about Massachusetts and you talk about Rocky Marciano and you talk about Marvin Hagler, and those guys are fighters, like real dog fighters, like that's what Vendetti is. He's a real dog. And he's a gentleman too. Very nice, humble, quiet guy. So he fought Cordell, the Gift Booker, and I thought he won the first 2-3 rounds myself. And because Cordell just started real slow, which I think that's his game plan too. I watched him fight a few fights, and his past couple fights, and he just looks like he starts a little slow, but he's real crafty in there, and he looks very strong. And he's a southpaw, so it must be really hard to fight that guy. And he moves, and he has his hands down, and just a very crafty, awkward fighter to fight. But Vendetti was even like harder to fight because he's a little bit on the shorter side. And he does this like bending over, like leaning, kind of like, I think Rocky Marciano. Yeah, looks like a little Rocky Marciano. And then, I mean, he works good to the body. And he works his way on the inside. He uses his jab. Sometimes he uses his jab. Then he switches southpaw. So it was a very awkward fight for both of the fighters, I'd say. And I know because after the fight, Cordell said it. It was a very hard fight for Cordell to win. It was not easy. Cordell wins by unanimous decision. One judge had the fight 98, 92? What? Oh, God, man, this is a tough business. Tough business. But, I mean, I thought up until like round 5, 6, 7 even, I thought Vendetti could have been winning them fights. Like, I thought he was winning, in my opinion. Then to close out the 10th round, you know, both fighters were in great shape. I mean, Cordell he just looks like he just does it so easily. Like he just, you know, I don't know what it is. I don't know how to describe it, but like he just effortlessly, like he's southpaw, he throws this jab, it just looks effortlessly. And he's got like he's big muscles for a 154 pounder. You know, and he just moves like so effortlessly and carelessly, like it's just so simple for him, and he's just so confident. You know, he's just like running around, the end of the round, he's just running back to his corner, like he's not even breathing heavy or hard. So the guy works, like tremendous shape. You know, I mean, for me, I think he keeps his hands down a little bit too much. But hey, what do I know? The guy's 21-0, 22-0. You know, so he's 22-1. He's now the U.S. He's the U.S. WBC, has the U.S. WBC belt. Oh, here in New England, rumor has it, he's going to get a title shot. So, you know, Stamford, Connecticut, Cordell Booker, 22-1, 10 KOs. You know, shout out to Greg Vendetti. I mean, that guy came in. That guy always came to fight. I mean, shoot. He makes these guys look bad. You know, he'd make these guys look. You know, he makes them look bad. You know, so maybe that's what I was witnessing with Cordell, the Booker tonight. I mean, he did pick up his tempo towards, you know, the you know, middle, second half of the fight. He did stop picking it up, and I mean, he was jabbing and landing the jab a lot and landing a lot of uppercuts. Greg Vendetti was putting his head down, and there was a lot of uppercuts, and then he started throwing good body shots, and he started squatting down to his height because Greg, like I said, Greg Vendetti's a little short, and for that weight class too. But then Cordell's not too tall himself. He's taller than him, but he was actually squatting down and getting down to his level, to his height, where Greg Vendetti was squatting, getting low and bending over, and he was getting low and tacking that body and doing, you know, everything he can to try to catch the face and the chin. And you know, and he was successful, and you know, and he's picked up the tempo. So I don't know if that was part of his game plan to start off a little slow and you know, and then pick it up. But I tell you for sure, in my opinion, in over 30 years in boxing, watching fights, all over the country. Vendetti was not a shutout. It was not a unanimous decision the way they had it. 98-92. Now Vendetti won at least 4 rounds. At least, in my opinion, he won at least 4 rounds. So shout outs to him. That was a great fight. Shout outs to CES and the whole network over there. Jimmy Bridgefield, Classic Entertainment and Sports. All those young guys over there, they got a great team. They put together, the matchmaker, Fred, put together some great, amazing, competitive fights. And I was glad to be there. I know there was a lot of fans there. The place was packed. Had to be over, 5,000 people there, or at least 5,000 people in the arena. And remember, they had the amateur show first, 8 fights. So I think they started at like 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon till 1 a.m. at night. So if you were a boxing lover, fan, to get that much boxing in one night, I mean, you might have been wrenched out by the end if you went to all them fights. I didn't go to all the amateur fights. I was there to see the last amateur fight, and that set the tone for the whole night. So from the last amateur fight to which the winner knocks the guy out in the second round, heavyweight, and he wins fighter of the night. And from that point, all the pro fights were just great, amazing, talented, brave, young, the next generation of fighters out here in New England. Do I see any future champions, like world champions? I think there's some talent there that can be. Frank the Tank, he stands out. Cordell Booker definitely stands out. Alejandro Paulino, he stands out. King Kevin Walsh, after today, stands out. I mean, even Ricky De Los Santos, he really stepped his game up. I watched him fight a few years back, and he really improved. I'd like to see him have a little more defense, in my opinion. But hey, what do I know? I don't have any pro fighters, so I wouldn't know. I mean, he's getting the job done. That's all that matters, right? But yeah, so I think any one of these kids can be, a world-class contender, at least, at the minimum. So there you have it, folks. That was the Saturday night fights at Mohegan Sun. I've been posting about it, bragging about it, promoting it myself for these young guys, supporting the young guys. CES, February 3rd, Mohegan Sun, the Winter Brawl was all and more of the hype. And I just wanted y'all to hear it from me first. Congratulations to all the fighters. Much love. Like, subscribe, share, give me a shout out, something. Steaming, beaming, Voice of New England. Here we go. And I'll see you at the next fights. Peace.